Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. All right. Okay. And then, Mike, let me know if you and your team can hear me. Perfect. I know we've got yours. We're doing 3 different Zoom rooms here, and we've got LinkedIn as well. So give us just a minute, make sure we've got everybody going here, and then we will get started. Okay. That's coming. Hey, Abby, I'm sending you this link right now to your email, so you will have it. Okay, we'll get started here. Just one more minute, guys. Making sure everybody can get on here. Okay, for those of you in Zoom rooms, if you are able to, please go ahead and turn your video on. Just if at least just for a second so I can see your faces, just so I can put names and faces, that would be great. I won't make you talk or introduce yourself, I promise. Okay. We've got one last group coming on, and then we will rock and roll.
Oh,
Okay, and if you can, go ahead and your mute yourself on the Zoom if you've got it, if you can. That would be helpful. Mike, you guys can see me, but you cannot hear me. Okay, let's see here. You are unmuted on your thing that I can see. Uh, I will keep talking. Yes, I will keep talking for your IT guy. Yeah. If you can keep hearing me, that's great. Give me a heads up or just put it in chat that you can hear me, Mike. That's great. I'm gonna keep talking. Keep talking. I'm talking. Okay. Mike, I'm going to give you an alternative link for your guys also in case the link that we have privately for your team does not work. You'll be able to get in with this one. And then I think we are ready to rock and roll, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience. Okay. Mike, let me know if that one works for you. Good. Okay. Awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I am so excited for you all. This is going to be a great time together. And if along the way you have questions in the chat, please let me know. We've got 4 different rooms going on, so I will do my very best to look periodically through each one of those and make sure that you guys are able to see me and that I have all of your questions answered. All right. For those of you in the Zoom rooms, if you can, tell me where you are from. Tell me where you are from. And on LinkedIn, if you guys want to share with me where you're from as well, that would be awesome. That would be great. All right. We got Michigan, we got California, we have UK. Wow, you are up late. Thank you very much. Okay, Florida. Okay, got it. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here. My name is Darla Bonk, and I am the CEO and founder of Darla Bonk Consulting. And it is one of my biggest pet peeves is in how people set their goals and how easily and quickly those goals are not achieved in the following year, and how by usually February or March, those goals are not even thought of anymore. So every year I put together a little bit of a challenge for us all. This year, I'm calling it the 2026 Life and Work Lab. And we are going to be bringing to you for the next few minutes just some really tangible ways that you're going to be able to make sure that you are ready to rock in 2026 and that you have everything you need to be successful and know you have a strategic roadmap in order to make this work. So I'm going to go ahead, if you'll give me the second here, I'm going to share my screen for you all so you can see the presentation here. And if we make this work on all of the platforms, this is going to be an amazing thing. So bear with me here for just a minute, guys. Okay, now let me go over here and do this last little guy. Amy, yes, thank you. I think I can do this. Let me just make sure I'm sharing this right. And then I think we are ready to rock and roll here. Okay, can you guys all see my slides? Okay. All the Zoom rooms can see the slides. LinkedIn, I hope you can see the slides. Okay. What I want to first tell you guys is that this is going to be a working session. You're going to leave with a complete sprint plan for what you are needing to do to accomplish your goals in 2026. And one of the things that you're never going to see me do is create a vision board. You're never going to see me write vague resolutions. And I'm not talking about any type of manifestation or positive thinking. These are going to be tangible things you're going to be able to do tonight to walk away with achieving your goals in 2026. We are going to build your first 90-day sprint plan. This is going to give to you a tactical and executable roadmap that will help you achieve more in the next 12 weeks than most people are going to accomplish in 12 months. And I will just say, the sprint that I'm giving to you is not unique to me. I did not create this. I wish I could, but I'm going to take a little bit of some of the 12-week years that is created and allow you to really make this be your own and make this be something that is tangible for you. So all right, let me see, make sure we're switching this up. Okay, here's our ground rules, guys. This is going to be a working session. So I'm going to have you go ahead and grab a workbook. I'm going to give you a QR code here in just a second that's going to let you see that and use that. And let me put that in the chat for you all, the workbook. So you all have that as well. So give me just a second to pull that back up for you. And West Virginia, that's awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Nope. Welcome from California. Nope. You are just in time. You are just fine. Thank you for being here. You all will see that I am the least tech savvy person in the room in the world of the digital age. But you know what? You do the best you can and you keep it moving, don't you? Yeah. So while I'm pulling this link for you guys here for the workbook, let me just share a little bit about who I am and why I do this. As I said, I'm Darla Bonk, CEO and founder of Darla Bonk Consulting, and I help business owners and C-suite executives overcome the obstacles that are in their way so that they can get on their way to building and living the lives that they love. And I started this business about a little over 3 years ago and really wanted to make sure that I was helping leaders and business executives be able to find the value that they are looking for in their life, to stop feeling like the job that they were in, what and the businesses that they had was no longer something that suited them or no longer something that they wanted to experience, and that they did not feel like they had a monkey on their back by having this business. And so many people also who are professionals who aren't yet at that place have a lot of opportunity to be able to make a difference and a change by the goals that they're trying to set and the goals that they're trying to accomplish. And a lot of times that can be really difficult to execute when you don't feel like you are being supported in the job place. You don't feel like you are being given all the things that you're looking for in the workplace. And so I wanted to make sure that people had access to knowing how to really set tangible goals and not just do it from a place of here's a year's goal for you and make it work, but that you're able to really understand what it takes to accomplish the goals and what it really means to do that. And we are really making sure in 2026 that we help you be set up for all the success that you possibly can have. And so this QR code, you're going to have two QR codes tonight. This QR code is going to give you access to connect with me and get onto my social media, get onto my email list, all of those things. And I will bring this back again at the end. But I know more importantly, you want to be able to grab this workbook. So go ahead and scan that QR code and make sure that you are able to pull that up. If you are not, let me know and I can put that in the link for the PDF in the chat as well for you. But you should be able to pull that. And yes, I will put that in the chat for you. Don't you worry about it. Just 1 second and I can do that. Not a problem. You should now have that there in the chat, in the Zoom chats, and then let me go and put this in the LinkedIn event for you all as well. We can make that work for you all. Not a problem. Okay. Everybody should be good here now. All right, let me go back to share. Yes, I will put the link back up at the end of how you can connect with me. Thank you for the question. Yes. Okay. Let me go back to sharing. And for those of you who are new, I know I've got two brand new business owners in here. You know what? Listen, this isn't the most tech savvy event that you're going to attend, but you know what? Don't let that stop you from being here and sharing the expertise that you know that you have that people need to hear for you. So don't worry about that. Okay, so we've got some ground rules. I want you to participate fully. I want you to really think about progress over perfection. And I want you to really be sure that you feel like you have everything that you need to be successful. So, a lot of times, I want you to think back at the amount of times that you have done annual planning and how often that has failed, and when in the year and put it in the chat. When in the year did your annual plan start to go awry? And for those of you who made it out of January, let's see how far you guys get in this of when you knew that your goals were not going to happen and that your annual goals, what's the farthest you've gotten with your annual planning? And if you've gotten all the way through, great. But how much did you have to make an adjustment along the way because how you started off was not what you were looking for, was not really setting you up for success? January 15th. Yeah, I love, yes. And the next year will be different. We get all the way through, and by the end of the year, what do we end up saying? This is next year is going to be my year, right? Next year is going to be my time. Next year is going to be what I am going to do to end up being successful. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about a client of mine. For the purposes of the discussion, we're going to call her Sarah. And she was a CEO at a mid-sized company, and she was setting these big, huge, exciting goals and, personal and professional. She wanted to lose 20 pounds. She wanted to improve her retention rate at her company. Kind of the drill. And before she had started working with me, she had said, I've set the same goals for 3 years in a row, and I'm not growing. And you guys all know from my community, leaders must be learners. We should be ones who are sitting here figuring out what we need to be doing, how we need to be doing it, and setting that example accordingly for others so that they know that we can show the way that we know how to get things done. So what we did when we worked with her is we really stopped planning a whole year out. And we said, okay, if one thing changed in the next 90 days, what would that be? And what about it would have to change in order for you to believe and know you were capable of wiping this off your plate or of moving the needle in whatever this expectation was? And it was through this process of these 90-day goals and these sprint plans that we've created that she now has had me incorporate with her and her team all the way down the line to the front receptionist at the company. And it makes such a difference because we have these giant, huge goals. And we all know this, when we can knock these goals down to quarterly goals and to weekly goals and to daily goals and to this is the one thing I have to do today to move that needle forward, it begins to really start to make an impact for us. And it's a crucial thing for us to be able to make this happen, because when you compress your timeline, meaning from 365 days to 90 days, you automatically get a sense of urgency. I'm also a neuroscience certified neuroscience coach, and there is something that happens in your amygdala and all of the things that I won't go into because I'm too much of a nerd and it's for another time. But when you have a deadline, when you feel like your back is up against the wall, there's a fight or flight that kind of takes in. And when your urgency goes up, your action goes up. And when your action goes up, your results go up. Now, I want to make sure I'm very clear. Your results may not be the perfection you're longing for, but your results, I promise you, will be improvement and progress. And we are looking for progress over perfection every single time, every single time. So let's talk about this 12-week year. When you think about a 12-week year, 90 days, every week begins to matter. You start to realize you don't have a buffer to procrastinate. You realize that your finish line is always visible. And you also realize that quick wins are going to create momentum for you. And you have 4 sprints per year. So if something happens in a quarter, you aren't kissing the annual goals goodbye. You're just realizing I've got to do better in my planning, in my execution, and in my daily tasks to make sure I know that what I'm doing is building in that progress, and it's not just being thrown off by the wayside just because I didn't meet one 12-week sprint plan. So it still gives you 3 other opportunities within that year to be successful, to be brilliant, to make changes, to be all of the things that you know that you want to do. Now, I want to stop here for just a minute, and I want to go back to pulling up this workbook alongside you so I can look at this with you, because there's some questions in here that I want you to ask yourselves as part of this workbook here. And it's really important for you to look at this. So, I want you to think about this first section where it talks about your vision statement. Those can tend to be really cheesy, sure. But I want you to think about, here you are in December of 2026. And what would a statement be that you could look back and say, absolutely, that defines me, that speaks to who I am, that speaks to what I'm capable of. And if nobody else gets it, I have proven to myself that I am this. I want you to take just a minute and write some of those emotions down. You may, or write some of those statements down. You may not have a cookie cutter, perfectly worded statement tonight. That's okay. That's the space for you to do that. And that might be homework for you. Then I want you to think about the 3 emotions that you want to feel in 2026. What are 3 emotions that you want to feel in 2026? What would matter for you? What would happen if you felt differently about X in 2026? What would that look like? What would that feel like for you? And take just a minute and answer that question. And then I want you to think about a metric, because I am a big proponent. You cannot manage what you cannot measure. And so, what would a success measure look like for you? Here's how I'm going to measure myself, whether it's a full on KPI as part of a scorecard for your company, or it's just a private metric. Every week, I want to be able to show this. What would that success measure look like for you? Take just a minute and answer those 3 questions. What is 2026 when you are successful? What is that going to feel like for you? And if you get stuck on one of these, just put a star next to it. Keep moving. You can come back to it after the session. Okay, so let's go back into for a minute, because I want to give you guys a little bit of time to write, but I don't want to give you guys too much time to overthink. I want to talk about the book, The 12-Week Year, that was authored by Brian Moran. And the science behind it is really simple. We talked about the urgency going up and every week mattering. And here's the magic. When you are able to achieve something in 90 days, I'm directly quoting, you get a win. How many of you would like to chalk up more wins than losses in 2026? And that win creates momentum, and that momentum is the fuel that will keep you going. So I want you to be thinking about this. And in the visualization, I have already accomplished these goals. I've already done this. 90 days from now, I have all this in the bag. It's already done. What does that look like? What is that going to feel like? And what's that metric going to be for you? So one of the things that I've done to really help a lot of companies with their goals, with how they're doing this thing, is in my sprint framework. And I'm going to come back in here and share my screen for you all so you can see this and follow along with me and take notes on this, because it's really, really important that you guys are able to see this and understand what this looks like. So when you have, hold on, some of the Zoom crew cannot see the screen. Hold on. Okay. We can make that happen. Just one second. Okay. Okay. So when we talk about Zoom crew, can you guys see it now? Okay, perfect. Okay. So I want to talk about the sprint framework. The S is your strategic vision. Do you know where you're going? A lot of people say, I just know I want to be successful. I know I've got a lot in me. I know I'm capable of a lot. And that may be so for some of you that are younger on here, absolutely. But I also want you to challenge yourself and think about a strategy. What is it going to take to become all that you know you are capable of becoming in 2026? So, what does that specific vision look like for you so that you can look back in 2026 and say, this was my best year yet? The P is for priority selection because you cannot do everything. I don't care what anybody says to you. A lot of times we write a lot of things on and we feel like I just couldn't get to it today or something. And then we feel like an epic failure because we just didn't get through a task list. You cannot do everything, but everyone can do something. And there are at least 2 to 3 things that will create massive momentum for you. So you have to figure out how to choose what matters most because you are going to spread yourself too thin trying to do everything, but you can do a couple of things really well and watch that forward momentum progress. And I want you to choose what's going to matter most. A lot of times we choose what's easiest. We choose what's fastest to do. We choose that which we can get off our plate quickly. When in reality, none of those things are really moving the needle in who we are trying to become by the end of December 2026. So you have to choose what matters most. Okay. All right. The R is the roadmap creation. I want you to break your 90 days down into action. And on your workbook now, you're going to see monthly milestones, you're going to see weekly actions, and you're going to see that when you start to put that down and write down all of this in really specific milestones and actions, you're going to realize you probably never done goal planning well because vision without a roadmap is just a dream. Vision without a roadmap is just a dream. So here's another time I'm going to pause and from sharing the screen and take you back to the workbook. And I want you to really think about what some of those monthly milestones are. You have that on your screen or on your workbook page. And I want you to think about what are some of these milestones that I really want to accomplish each month? What does that look like? What does that look like? And then for month 1, what's that milestone? And then what are those top 3 actions I'm going to have to take in order to make that milestone be accomplished? I'm going to give you just a couple minutes here because this is really where you're going to have time to really stop and think about what are the things I want to accomplish. When I look back in 90 days, if I was really strategic about it, and if I really put strategic action behind it, and if I really held myself accountable for it, what could I achieve? So what is that milestone? And maybe you only have one at the moment. That's okay. Maybe you have one milestone and it's going to take you all 3 months to get through it. That's also okay. Make this workbook work for you. So what's the milestone and what are 3 of the actions you need to take? And I promise you I'm going to give you time, but I'm going to keep going here for just a couple minutes and keep sharing my screen because I know you're going to want to see and have a little bit more time to actually execute what we've been talking about. So we've talked about the S for strategic vision. We've talked about the P for priority selection. We've talked about the R in your roadmap creation. And now we're going to talk about the implementation system. I believe, and you'll hear me if you're a part of my community, you'll hear me on my soapbox often. Everyone needs a personalized system. The way in which you operate, the way in which you will choose to think, the way in which you will choose to act. Because if you are bound by just your feelings and things that are coming and going in the day, something is going to turn you into a reactive system rather than maintaining a proactive system that is choosing to live and build a life that you live, that you love and that you live. So your implementation system is crucial. So I want you to think about an execution engine. You, your mind, your body, your heart, your soul, your spirit, you are an execution engine. So what does that look like? What does my weekly planning ritual consist of? What kind of strategic time blocking do you have to accomplish the things that you have as your milestones for your 90-day sprint plan? And then who are your accountability partners? If you have an accountability partner, I would love for you, when we get done with the session tonight, text them, call them, and email them and tell them at least one of those milestones and give them permission to hold you accountable on a weekly basis to ask you how you are doing with that action. If you don't have somebody that is an accountability partner, you are more than welcome to email me and tell me what those milestones are. And I would be happy to do that as an accountability partner for you, because it's critical. And we need people to know that they're thinking about us and hold us accountable. And also not just to beat us down if we don't accomplish something. That's not the point. The point is to, hey, if something doesn't work out the way we planned for it, that we are encouraged, uplifted, and we are told what we need to do so that we can believe in ourselves again. It's really critically important to have accountability partners in your life. Then the N is navigating obstacles. Obstacles are going to happen no matter what stage of your life, whether you are 20, 40, or 60. Obstacles are part of life. What happens is that you get more and more things in your arsenal and in your toolkit to handle those obstacles so they don't make you stumble as far or at all. High performers do not wait. They do not wait for things to happen in their life. They don't wait for obstacles to show up. They plan for them, and we're going to identify then what those things are that could potentially derail you. And we're going to make solutions before it happens. For example, are you one who your feelings can come in and the thoughts that you have can make you change the whole trajectory of your day, and you begin to act out of doubt and out of maybe spite or out of negative thoughts, rather than that's a feeling, that's a thought, I can put it over here and keep going because this is my game plan? Do you have a language that you attach to things when all those obstacles come in, the things that we have nothing to do with, those emails that come in that we are being asked to react to? I want you to make sure that you are one that responds, not reacts. And having a system, knowing obstacles are coming, knowing here's the things that I'm bound to get derailed by just because of my existence, my human nature. How do I know those? How do I see those before they come and be able to pivot and implement my system so that they don't derail me and I can accomplish my goals in this 90-day sprint plan? And then T, track and adjust. You heard me say it before, you cannot manage what you cannot measure. So what is this weekly scorecard going to look like? What do you need? Are you one that wants to see your progress every Friday when you're ending your work week? Are you one that wants to look at this Sunday night before you start your week? Are you one that, as you're going and knocking things off during the week, you want to look back at your scorecard on a daily basis because you're a glutton for punishment? What does that look like? How do you need to track your progress? And then what does that accountability rhythm look like? Is it going to be every week you're going to talk to your accountability partner? Is it going to be once a month during this 90-day sprint? What does that look like? And then again, it's progress over perfection. What does continuous improvement going to feel like for you? How are you going to celebrate your improvements while you are working to accomplish those goals? And that's the sprint framework. So we have a strategic vision, we have a priority selection, we have a roadmap creation, we have an implementation system, we have an ability to navigate the obstacles, and then we're going to track and adjust. And over the next few minutes, you're going to build yours. And I want you to pull back out that workbook. And we talked a little bit up front about what that vision is. And I want you to think about that vision statement. I want you to think about, what is that vision statement going to look like? I want you to get crystal clear about where you're going in 2026, not vague, and not I want to be happier, I want to be more professional, I want to be more successful. I want you to really think about what this is going to look like in December of 2026. What happened? What did you achieve? What changed about you so that you were able to achieve those? Now I want you to go back to starting to write that vision statement. Go back to writing that vision statement in your workbook. And what does that look like? What does that vision statement look like? And then what are those emotions that you're going to feel in 2026? What is that emotion going to feel like? Not accomplishments, your emotions. What are your emotions going to feel like? Are you going to feel energized? Are you going to feel financially secure? Are you going to feel purposeful? Are you going to feel free? What are you going to feel like? And what are you going to give yourself permission to feel? I want you to write those emotions in there in that workbook. And then lastly, I want you to figure out how you're going to measure your year, the metrics, the KPIs. That one thing that if you know you achieve it, you will have reached success in 2026. Maybe it's revenue for your company. Maybe it's an increase of that. Maybe it's a promotion. Maybe it's graduating college. Maybe it's a relationship milestone. Maybe it's your health. Whatever it is, write it down. Write it down. Okay, as you're finishing that part up, I want to say congratulations to you because you have successfully done more and already had more clarity than 95% of people going into 2026. I didn't make up that stat. That is a stat. Less than 5% of people ever write down their goals. Less than 5% of people ever figure out how they're going to make those goals accomplished, the metrics for it, and less than 5% write down the emotion they're going to give themselves permission to feel once they've accomplished those goals, because it is neuroscience, scientifically proven. And there's a Harvard study, and if any of you are interested in this, I can get it for you, that when you write down your goals and when you also attach not just the strategy, but the emotion to it, you are 90% more likely to achieve that goal. So congratulations to you. If nothing else, you've already accomplished more than most people. All right. Now we're going to go back to section 2, where it talks about the priority project selection. So on the page, it'll say priority project number 1, why it matters, and the 90-day goal. Why it matters and the 90-day goal. As I mentioned earlier, you cannot do everything, guys. So let me just let you give yourself permission to get off the hook there. But we can do 2 or 3 things that are going to create this massive momentum for you. And this is where most people fail because they try to work on 10 goals at once, as I mentioned, and they end up having really no progress at all. And this is what we're going to do right now. I want you to list everything that you could work on in 2026. Don't filter it. Don't overthink it. Just start free flowing, write it. What could you work on in 2026? What are all the things that you could work on in 2026? Just start writing those things down. What are all the things you could work on in 2026? Maybe it's launching a business. Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's, again, getting a promotion, improving your health, building a new skill, starting a relationship, fixing a relationship, ending a relationship. What are all those things that you could do? This is what we call, for those of you who have been around for a long time, you know this, but this is what we call brain dumping. You're just data dumping. I'm just data dumping. I'm free flowing. I'm getting all the stuff out of my brain onto a piece of paper. And this is not yet mind mapping, for those of you asking. No, this is not yet mind mapping. Okay, I want you to start to look at your list because this is where the hard part comes into play. You can't do all of that, and you sure as heck cannot do it in 90 days, right? So I want you to apply an impact filter. an impact filter. So what this is, I want you to think about the impact on your vision that we just talked about. Does this move me towards my 2026 vision? All those things that you could do, does it move me towards my 2026 vision? Then I want you to think about the urgency. Does this have to happen in quarter 1, 90 days? Does this have to happen in Q1? Or can it wait? Then I want you to think about the resources that are available for each of those things that you could do. Do I have the time, the money, and the energy for this right now? Maybe you want to write a book, but you don't have a topic. You don't have you can self-publish now these days, but maybe you don't have an audience. Maybe you don't know how to do it. Maybe you want to get some help. Is Q1 the time to go all in on a book? Maybe that's a Q3 project. But maybe getting your health in order is a Q1 project. And then the excitement level. Am I genuinely energized and excited about this? Or is it a should or could option? So here's your filter. What is the impact on your vision? Does this move me towards my 2026 vision? Is this going to need to happen in Q1? What's the urgency? What are the resources that are available? And what is my excitement level about these? So I want you to look at your list. I want you to circle 2 or 3 things that score the highest for you out of those 4 questions. So you've got about 2 minutes to choose the 2 or 3 priority projects for you. And you can go ahead and start to write those down in the workbook. The priority project number 1, the priority project number 2, and if you have it, a priority project number 3. What are those 2 or 3 priority projects that when you filter through the impact on your vision, do I need to do this right now? What resources do I have available that I can allocate to this? And your level of excitement and energy. Push those things that you could do from your list up to the top of the list. And then as you start to write those down in the priority project portion of the workbook, I want you to ask yourself this question: why it matters? Why does it matter? Why does this project matter? What happens if you do this and complete this project? What happens if you don't? And then I want you to think about the 90-day goal, not the 5-year vision, not, 10 years from now, I want to be doing this thing, but in your 90 days, in your finish line, 90 days from now, you are crossing the finish line of whatever this little mini marathon is of your project. What does done look like at the end of March? On March 31st, 2026, you have your priority project number 1, you have why it matters, your 90-day goal. And then I want you to ask yourself, what will done with this priority project look like on March 31st, 2026? And then write it down. What does done look like? What does done look like? Now, one of the things I want you guys to understand is I'm a big proponent of the 85% rule. The 85% rule. And this means that consistency beats perfection every time, because so many people fail to keep going with their goals because it's not perfect, it's messy, it's ugly, it's a lot of this in energy level, it's a lot of this in task completion. And so therefore people just give up on it. But if you could execute at even 85% consistently for 12 weeks, for 90 days, you will crush your goals. You will crush your goals. And it's an important thing to be thinking about with this. So I want you to go back to your workbook now, and I want you to look at the next phase of this, the monthly milestone mapping. The monthly milestone mapping. So you have 3 months, January, February, March, not hard. What are the top 3 actions for each month that you need to take in order to make these milestones happen, in order to push the needle forward so that you can get to March 31st and realize that done moment? This is, as many of you may know, but the easiest way to achieve your goals is to reverse engineer them. So, for example, let's look at your first priority project. What's the milestone that you need to hit by the end of month 1? Not the whole goal, just the first big step. Just the first big step. And then what are those 3 actions that you need to take in month 1 to hit that milestone? And that's what you'll do again with the month 2 milestone and the month 3 milestone. What are those top 3 actions? So now when you go through this, section 3 will be complete for you, and you will have a 3-month roadmap. You'll know exactly what needs to happen each month, and you will have your top actions. So this is what's the gold of this, because then it starts to be, you write it down and you look at it and it becomes really simple. You're like, oh, I can do this. Absolutely, I can do this. The 12-month goal of one thing only doesn't become as insurmountable or overwhelming for you. Doesn't become as insurmountable or overwhelming for you. Okay, let me go back and pull up my screen one more time to share with you the last bit of this as we close out. What are those final actions you need to take so that you can get where you need to get by March 31st, 2026? Okay, so I want you to think about, now we've talked about a year, we've broken it down into a quarter, 3 months. We're like, oh, wow, I can totally do this. This seems really doable. Well, now I want you to think about this down to the weeks and down to the days. Okay. Now we're going to build a weekly planning ritual. We're going to build the weekly execution system, as I like to call it, because a plan without a system is just a wish. A plan without a system is just a wish, because if you do not protect the time to work on the goals that you have, they will not happen. You have to block out time for this. Okay. So when are you going to do your weekly planning? And here's what this kind of looks like. I want you to think about a non-negotiable 15-minute meeting with yourself every week at the same day, at the same time. And I want you to review your scorecard, or review your actions, review what you've done. And I want you to plan your week, and I want you to set your top 3 priorities. When are you going to do this? What day of the week are you going to do this? Write this in the workbook. I want you to be specific. Maybe it's now Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're going to do this. Maybe it's Monday morning at 5 a.m. And God bless you if that's you. Whatever works, whatever works. Now, what I want you to do is think about celebrating those wins during that meeting with yourself. I want you to think about, what were the obstacles? Where did I get blindsided? And then I want you to set 3 priorities for the week. Set the top 3 priorities for the week. And now I want you to go and take a time, whether your virtual calendar, online calendar, whether you're old school planner, hardback planner, I want you to go put this in your calendar. When are you going to have a 15-minute meeting with yourself? A 15-minute meeting with yourself. Then I want you to think about having strategic blocks. strategic blocks throughout the week. These are 90 minutes of uninterrupted focus. No email, no Slack, no Teams, no meetings. I want you to work only on something within those 3 priority projects. And I want you to protect this like you would if you're the CEO and owner, your board, your investors, your spouse. I want you to protect this like you are meeting with your professors, your boss, whoever it may be. 90 minutes of uninterrupted focus every single week to accomplish your goals. I want you to be specific about the days and the times. I have times blocked in my calendar every week. My assistant knows she can't touch that time no matter what. I am the only one that can do anything with that time. You have to protect it. You have to create a boundary for yourself. People do not love boundaries, but people will respect boundaries. So if you can't even provide boundaries for yourself, don't ask anybody else to protect your boundaries. You have to protect yourself, protect your goals, protect your actions, and find the time on your calendar. Make the time. There's never going to be enough time. You have to create the time because you are the only one living your life. No one else can do it for you. Okay. And then the last part of all this is really looking to your accountability partner. I want you to think about who your accountability partner is, and I want you to think about who you're going to share this with. Who are you going to share this accountability partner with, your goals with? Who are you going to give this information to and share what's been happening? Who's going to be your accountability partner? So then what I want you to think about is the 90-day rhythm, getting into the rhythm. You have a system and that system needs a rhythm. You got a system and that system needs a rhythm. So in weeks 1 through 4, you're going to just be building the momentum. You're just going to be building the momentum. And in weeks 5 through 8, you're going to stay consistent through what I call the messy middle. It's like, oh, I haven't gotten off to a great start. It's the grind. Maybe I should have changed my priority. Oh, I'm not giving myself enough time blocking. My accountability partner's not calling. This is the messy middle. Welcome to it. Then in weeks 9 through 12, I want you to really push and see that finish line. See March 31st, 2026 and say, oh my gosh, I can get there. I can do this. I'm going to finish strong. Doesn't matter. I'm going to finish strong because most people don't even finish at all. So even if it's messy from the middle and even if it's ugly at the end, I'm going to finish strong. And then in week 13, we're going to celebrate, we're going to rest, and we're going to reset in what's going on with your goals. It's the difference between winning and literally everything else. People who can look at this and take it for exactly what it is are more likely to accomplish their goals. Winners are not going to wait for these obstacles to show up. They're going to plan for them. They're going to build the system to overcome the obstacles. They're going to have that accountability partner. They're going to check in with themselves every week for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Can you commit to yourself for 15 minutes every week? You commit to everyone else in your life. What will happen in 2026 when you start committing to yourself? And what will this look like when you start time blocking? And what will this look like when for the first time in 90 days, you can look back and see, I finished strong. I came through. I followed through with this. I did it. And then go back to what those emotions were on your first page of the workbook. What is that going to feel like? What is that going to feel like? And that vision statement. Yep, that's what I set out to do. And I did it. You want to talk about a confidence booster, being able to trust in yourself, believe in yourself because you've proven to yourself you can do it. What is that going to feel like? What is that going to look like? And then I want you to celebrate what you're building. I want you to take the moments to pause and celebrate what it is that you're building. Look at what you just did. Look at what you just created. Look at what you just accomplished at the end of this 90-day rhythm. Most people will never do this, but you just did in your planning, and you will have when you follow through with this at the end of March. I want you to take just a second and congratulate yourself. Think through March 31st of 2026 and what you've accomplished and what you've done and what does that feel like and what does that look like and how am I going to now push myself even harder for the second 12 weeks? What is that going to look like? And then what is the commitment? What is the commitment going to look like? When does your sprint start? I want you to write this down. When does your sprint start? Are you going to wait till January? Are you going to start December 1st? I've got a lot of clients who start this on December 1st because they know if I wait till January 1st, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So when is the date going to start for you? Who are you going to share this plan with in the next 24 hours? Who are you going to share this plan with in the next 24 hours? And if you know who it is, write it down on your page. Write it down on your page. And what's one action that you're going to take today to create momentum? What is one action you're going to take today to create momentum? What is one action you're going to take? And if you're bold and can put it in one of your chats, please feel free to do that. Please feel free to do that. What's one takeaway that you're going to do in the next 24 hours? Call my accountability partner. Yep. Tell my spouse. I love that one. Yeah, I love it. Those are great. Those are great. Because remember, you are the only one living your life. So holding yourself accountable is everything, and it's invigorating, and it's also exciting because then I get to be accountable and responsible for my life, and I get to take the actions I choose to become the person that I am becoming. Because as long as you have breath in your body, my friend, you are becoming. You still have opportunities to grow. You still have opportunities to make it 2026 your best year yet. And you have the plan. Now you can go and execute. And I do have a couple of questions that I will answer for you all. So here is that QR code for those of you who wanted to connect with me. You can connect with me. I am mostly on LinkedIn, but you are welcome to also, you'll see my website there if you want to sign up for email and for staying in connection with me when I've got stuff going on. You're welcome to do that. Working with my virtual assistant. Yeah, that's great, Bob. Love it. Yeah, for any of you all who are looking for connecting with me, you can just scan that QR code and you will see it. Let me see if there's other questions over here on all that. Yes, so if you don't have an accountability partner and you want me to look at your workbook, and once you've got some time, look at it, you are more than welcome to send that to me and I will give you feedback. It is Darla at darlabonk.com. Darla at darlabonk.com. And I don't know, Mary Lou, are you still on here? Mary Lou, are you still on here? If you are, hit yes in the chat. Yes, ma'am. Okay, my dear. Mary Lou completed the pre-work that I sent out. And so, Mary Lou, you, my dear, won an hour strategy session with me. So you just email me and we'll connect offline, and you and I will connect and make sure that you've got your 90-day sprint plan ready to rock and roll. So congratulations for doing the work and investing in yourself. I'm happy to come alongside you and join in the ride. So thank you all so much for coming. We're right there on our hour, and hope you all make it a fabulous week. And if you want to connect with me tomorrow morning, you can see me live on LinkedIn at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time from Monday Manna. All right, guys, make it a great week. See ya.